Well then, that was pretty quick. Yeah, so what could have been a long night of combat sports turned out to be over by 10:15 Central Time. It's pretty quick. First off, obviously we had the UFC on Fox 14, but then I'm like, oh great, we get an opportunity to watch Brandon Rios, Mike Alvarado 3. Only Mike Alvarado really did not come to fight. He really didn't. And I don't know what's going on with Mike Alvarado. You've always heard talk about him not possibly, really being totally committed to the sport and that sort of thing. Then obviously he had the recent arrest on a gun charge, I believe it was, that I don't know what was going on. But from the very beginning of this fight tonight against Brandon Rios, third time he faced him, he did not look ready, prepared at all to compete in this fight. From his posturing to his body language to his punch output, you name it, he looked like he would rather be somewhere else. And in contrast, Brandon Rios looked like a guy that was fighting to keep his career alive and not ready to say, hey, I'm gonna go and pick something else to do. And I actually predicted that this fight, that Brandon Rios would win this fight. I didn't think that it would be that one-sided. I mean, we looked at tonight a third round knockout. Well, essentially, Mike Alvarado didn't answer the bell to start the third round. So, whatever. He quit on the stool. Well, some of what he was saying was that he couldn't see. I never want to say, hey, no, what the guy said is not true or whatever, but it really didn't look like that to me. What it looked like to me was a guy who was not prepared, was not ready, came out and essentially got beat up. He got beat up. So I'm sorry, I think it was okay. His fight was stopped after the third round. I think I said he didn't answer the bell for round 3. He didn't answer the bell for the fourth round. So it was he wanted to. It was kind of frustrating. It was kind of frustrating, and to be quite honest, the fight could have been stopped before it was actually stopped, because he was taking successive blows in both the second and the third round, offering very little to no punches in return. The punches he was throwing had nothing on him. Rios was all over him. Now, I don't want to talk about all of this and really take away from Rios, because Brandon Rios was in great shape. He was as sharp, literally, as I've ever seen him. Now, I'm not saying that if he was just saying if he was the Brandon Rios he was the night he beat Pacquiao or whatever like that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is he looked great. So let's not take away from what he did because of what Mike Alvarado apparently didn't do. Alvarado looked really bad, but Rios looked really good. So it was really quite a letdown after the guys had two really good fights, and you're expecting this to be, maybe a new era version of Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti. Well, Alvarado didn't really hold up his end of the bargain in this one. And this is one sport that if you don't really want to be there, somebody's going to make sure you leave early. And that's just the way it is in boxing and combat sports. If you're not all in, and it really just looked like Mike Alvarado was not all in. He didn't look good at all. There's no way really to hide it, or there's no way to fluff this up or say it in a nice way. He just looked unprepared, like his mind was somewhere else, and Rios just took him apart. Really just took him apart. I don't know where Alvarado's career goes from here. I mean, this was his second fight in front of his hometown. This fight took place in, he's Mile High Mike. This fight took place in Colorado. Last time he fought in Colorado, he fought Ruslan Provodnikov. He quit on the stool in that fight too. So now you had two fights in front of your hometown, and you quit on the stool in both fights. Regardless of what the different situations were, this is what fans are likely going to remember, and they're going to associate with you when could he really ever sell tickets again to fight in Colorado and have people show up? I mean, to me, it might be a tough sell. He's going to have to do some stuff in his career to rebuild. And to be quite honest, at this point in Alvarado's career, I really think he has really gotten all of what he has out. He's not an expressly talented guy from a physical standpoint anyway. His, the biggest, quality that he has is his heart. And he didn't have that tonight. And he's 34 years old, so he's not like he's 25 and he's got a lot of time to revive something. He's 34 years old. He's now lost 3 straight fights, 4 of his last 5 fights. The only win he had in that span was over Rios. It's just not looking good. It's just really not looking good. Perhaps maybe he wants to go out on a different, different note or something. I don't know what he wants to do. But it looked like it was over. Looked like it was over tonight. So we'll see what happens, but that was pretty much a letdown. Brandon Rios moves on. I don't know what happens with Brandon Rios from here. He definitely should be able to get another fight. We'll see how that goes. He still has slow feet and relatively slow hands, but he's got a great chin and he can punch. And tonight he moved his head more than he ever has, and he also punched from more angles than I've ever seen him punch. So it was encouraging. We'll see what happens with him and as well as with Alvarado. But this ends my night of combat sports. 2 combat sports recaps in the same night. Dig that. Appreciate y'all watching. God bless. Peace.